Repeat these statements. I will have a great job.
I will have a great job.
I will be promoted to a better role.
I will be promoted to a better role.
I will work under a better boss.
I will work under a better boss.
I will have a salary increase.
I will have a salary increase. Manifest that dream career and make it a reality. Apply at JobStreet, where over 30,000 verified companies trust JobStreet. Part-time, no experience, fresh grad. If you're looking for job security, JobStreet is the place to be. Watch out for their quarterly virtual career fair, where you can talk to employers one-on-one and get a chance to get hired on the spot. Astiga.
To stay updated on the latest virtual career fair happenings, visit the JobStreet Philippines Facebook page, or you can go to their website for more information. And if you're an employee looking for new members for your team, JobStreet has you covered. Watch your career manifestations become a reality. Get hired with JobStreet.
Wake Up with Jim and Saab is exclusively on Spotify.
If you want to start your own podcast, check out anchor.fm. And if you like the podcast, make sure to follow on Spotify.
Also, share your stories
And
tag us on at Wake Up with Jim and Saab on Instagram and at ano ba?
Di ko alam.
Anyway, ito na yung show. But before that, ito yung latest single ng Cheats, Hakbang. Stream it on Spotify. Watch the music video with Piolo Pascual on
Stream Hakbang,
YouTube.
Stream Hakbang, Stream Hakbang.
Welcome to the Wake Up with Jim and Saab podcast.
We are Jim and Saab, and this is the podcast where we
help you with your future.
Nice. Today, we're going to be talking about Jim's best and worst job interviews, and we're going to give you tips on how to get that job, Pare. Get that job. We're going to be talking about job security in this podcast because I think it's a really big concern for Filipino employees, especially now that we're in a pandemic.
Yeah, well, I think I'm a credible source and an expert in job interviews kasi nakailan na ako. Nakailang jobs na rin ako. So, and from different and various fields.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of interviewers, like I've gone through the worst and the best. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to share, some of those stories. And somehow, I hope I can help you guys with your future job interview.
Did you come across, from what I know, are the most common job interview questions? Like, what is your greatest weakness? Diba mga ganon?
That, honestly, hindi.
Really? What are the questions that you came across?
The most frequent talaga is, it's really about, it's pretty much like a analysis of your CV in front of someone else.
Mm-hmm. What is a CV? Just kidding.
So, that's why. So it's mostly like what's on your resume, and they try to get you to. Yun yung most frequent. Like you noted down that you did this. Kwento mo nga. Anong ginawa mo dyan? Anong role mo dyan? Another frequently asked question is, yung dates. Even yung dates. Parang napansin ko. Like, nakailang interview ako na, oh my God, na mental block ako na, oh nga pala, kailan ako nag-graduate?
Oh, ganun.
Parang, you did this project, when was that? Ganyan.
Oh,
and it was so much harder when I was a fresh grad. Kasi technically, ang hirap talaga. So seryoso, like, that's why if you're a fresh grad, the interview is so much harder. Kasi wala ka masyadong makukwento. Especially if, I spent my whole college life focused on my band. So I couldn't really say like I was the head of IC.
ISEC?
ISIS.
Wag naman siguro ISIS, di ba? Wag naman yun yung org mo.
Kumbaga, I couldn't, ang hirap pumugot. I'm na ano nga ako ngayon natetense ako ulit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, remembering like, oh my God, ano ba usapan namin ito?
That was my next question actually, is if you had pre-interview jitters.
Definitely. I mean, all my interviews, I had grabe yung nerves. And honestly, nakakamiss.
Because there's a possibility that you're gonna get rejected, right? And nobody wants that.
And also, it's like, it's a first date where you can't even, hindi man lang kinikilig. Alam mo
Bakit?
yun, parang, hindi, kasi parang at least pag first date, kahit kabado ka, there's a sense of comfort na, oh man, she's cute. Cute niya.
Okay.
Like, parang, nakaka-good vibes siya.
Never ka kinilig for a job opportunity?
You don't think about it then eh. You just think about, unless kasi the person is, this is what we do.
Yeah.
Nakaganon na ako. Nakailan ako, like, I did this interview, it was a multinational. Yun yung parang first date na sarap. Like parang pagpasok mo, oh my God, may carpet. Parang,
May pantry sila.
parang, uy, katabi lang niya yung mall. Mga ganon. Mga ganon yung iniisip ko. Like,
Yeah.
parang, uy, may dispenser. So, and then you see the people, you see the vibe. And, yeah, I mean, so yun, back to the jitters.
Yeah.
Again, yun nga, it's like a first date.
Mhm.
Pero hindi ka man lang kinikilig. Kasi you really have to put your best foot forward. And I think, which I'll share later, one of my major mistakes.
Yeah. Okay. What about that job with the carpet and the dispenser? Did you get that job?
No.
Okay. Well, I want to hear about your best job interview. You as the interviewee. Do you remember? What do you think was the one that went super well?
Like, aced it.
And you felt so confident walking out the door and parang, I got it.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay, I think this one is, so it was a multinational, okay? And you go into the office and it's huge and it's like, talagang water dispenser times 5.0.
Oh, tapos?
So, I was so excited. I don't know why I was so confident. Kaya yun yung sinasabi ko sa'yo, parang pag first date. And this is, I know not
Pag first date, sure ball.
Yeah,
Sure ball, kilig rin to sa akin.
may ganun. Merong ganun eh. Like, for example, ako, lagi ang hope ko pag mag-i-interview sa akin was like, sana medyo tita. Kasi titas love me. And I'm comfortable. Parang, ang ayoko is yung one of my worst, which I'll share later. Pag parang ka-peer ko.
Oh.
Parang medyo same age ko.
Okay.
Parang yun biglang, hindi ko, parang may agad-agad. I know this sounds bad. I know it's not about pambobola. Pero totoo naman eh. Kasi honestly, it's a way to grade kung gaano ka galing, kung gaano ka creative, how you think on your feet. Ganun eh. So anyway, I got into, yun nga, the office was awesome and it smelled great. And then, pero pagpunta ko dun sa HR head, teko, okay. Parang, hi. Ay, ganun. So parang ako, oh, hi.
Mabait siya sa'yo. Ganun.
Yeah, and she was pretty cute.
And she was older than you?
A bit.
Okay.
And parang she was, naglalabas siya ng vibes na medyo parang, you're cute.
Sino yan? Just kidding.
So yun, I aced it. As in, paglabas ko, sabi ko, sure ball to.
Do you remember like a question that you feel like parang naswak mo yung sagot mo?
Like, damn?
Oh. Like, like I'm sure it was an answer that you pulled out of your ass, but
yeah, parang kasi because nga this was in my latter years na in corporate. So this was like a senior position na. So parang ang dami ko nang napagdaanan, alam ko na lahat ng terms, alam ko alam mo yun, I had people under me na.
Yes.
So parang alam ko na ano yung hinahanap nito.
Okay.
So I researched rin the person on Instagram. That's the beauty of Instagram. So I knew what he was into. I knew what So
he?
yeah.
Okay.
So parang all the things that I was saying.
Wait, I thought it was a girl.
Hindi, ito sinasabi ko nga, tinatanong mo ako, 'di ba? Parang ano yung
This is a different
one.
Okay,
na to.
okay.
Itong different one na to, as soon as I got there, I knew, hindi naman, alam ko naman hindi ito nakakyutan sa akin. Diba? Pero alam ko na, alam mo yun, I knew that, okay, I knew how to work him. I knew I knew his language. So, I hyped up big words. I hyped up the Ateneo. I have hyped up
The Arneo.
not the Ateneo, more of. And when I say the Ateneo, I'm not saying the Ateneo.
You
I'm
mean
saying
the Ateneo training?
Yes, I hyped up the Ateneo card, not the Ateneo. Anyway, in terms of experience, parang nalabas ko lahat. So, yun nga, that's which can be a tip for you as well. Do some stalking and tingnan mo, parang, okay, he looks like a douchebag. So I'm gonna find ways to bring up Lamborghinis.
Talk about Bora. Bora events for the company. Okay, so I want to hear about your worst job interviews. But before that, I want to say that if you are looking for a job, make sure to check out JobStreet because they have resume templates, interview guides, and a salary calculator. So that's pretty freaking cool. I know. So yeah, check out JobStreet. Okay, Jim.
Oh my God, sorry. I just have to go back to that. I wish I had that.
Wala pa ng time mo.
Grabe.
O bakit hindi mo lang alam? So thank this podcast kasi alam mo na ngayon.
Hindi, seriously, the salary calculator is a really big deal. Kasi nung time ko, parang the only things that you could see like in terms of like salary, like what's the salary rate, are like, kumari, let's say, ano ba? Like yung parang pang professional talaga. And, you know, and that would actually help you talaga navigate your way towards finding a job.
Yeah, and decision making.
Decision-making, yeah. Kasi I have had job interviews na, okay, killing it.
Yeah.
Get the offer. What? Layo. Parang, you're like I had an offer, sabi, na it's a multinational company. Yes, it is. It's a multinational company. Imagine. And it, parang, basta.
Okay.
Ang labo. Sorry.
Okay, sige. Well, at least there is a salary calculator now on JobStreet. So let's go back to your worst job interview experience.
Okay.
Yung medyo parang, did you go to one na
Cringe?
hangover ka? Or did you go to one na sobrang hindi mo na-research yung company tas sobrang wala kang alam? Na parang pagpasok mo talagang, wala na to.
Hindi.
It's just exactly how I felt when I took the UPCAT na parang, tangina, wag na to. Tao nandito.
Same Z's. Same Z's.
Yeah. So, yun. Ano nga?
Okay. I guess number one would be, okay. So, I can name companies, no?
No.
I can't?
You can't.
Okay. Anyway.
Let's not.
Hindi. Ako naman ang flop eh.
Okay, sige.
Ako yung flop.
Okay, I think you can. Okay.
Yeah.
Sige.
So, sige, whatever. It's a company that makes biscuits.
Okay.
Okay. So,
nagutom ako bigla.
I go to their office.
I'm so...
So yun, I just remember like all the mistakes I could have possibly made before an interview I did. At
Like
that
what?
time, I was a smoker.
Oh.
So ang ginagawa ko, I would smoke, go inside, and say, hi, I'm here for my interview. Okay, be ready in 15 minutes. Tapos parang, 15 minutes na nga lang, hindi ko pa rin napigilan sarili ko. I had to go outside, go to the smoking section, smoke, and then biglang, oh my God, patapos yung 50 minutes. Run in my overly tight slacks.
Laging tight.
And then get there like ngarag. So okay, that's one. And then anyway, the interview started and I think shinare ko to sa in one of our previous episodes. Pero anyway, tinanong ako again because nga I was a fresh grad and I didn't have anything to say. Wala talagang mapag-usapan. Sorry. If you wanted to ask me something about what I did in college, I'd say, nagbanda ako. And honestly, I could sell that. But ang mali ko, I didn't believe in myself. I could have used that. I could have said na, sorry, naglalabas na ako ng sama ng loob. Pero I could have used that as, you know, forming a band and performing on a professional level is it requires leadership, it requires dedication, it requires time management, blah, blah. So anyway.
Pero alam mo naman kasi na parang medyo red flag yun,
Yeah.
di ba? Na parang, ay, nagbabanda.
Yeah, yeah.
Ay, late nights ko.
Yeah.
Di pwede mag-OT.
OT. So yun, ganun. So medyo parang nakahon ako. And therefore, if nakahon ako,
Nakahan ka?
so dahil ganun, parang hindi ako comfortable. So therefore, hindi ko nabenta yung sarili ko as properly as I could have. So anyway, sabi, what do you think is your greatest, parang, saan ka pinakamagaling? What's your strength? And then I said, I can sell anything. And then I was like, oh no.
You overpromised.
I'm not ready. I am not ready.
Oh no, and then what did they say?
I'm not ready. Tas I saw a carton of this bottled juice that they have. Sabi ko, like, you sabi ko, like, I could get that carton and sell it. Like, I could sell it. I know it's supposed to be in the garbage, but I can sell it. Sabi niya, okay, can you do it now? Oh no.
What the heck were you thinking?
And I was talking out of my ass.
Okay.
Talagang, I was saying,
I'm cringing. I'm literally like physically cringing.
mega cringe.
Okay.
Sabi. And where I went is ito yung triple cringe.
Okay.
Sinabi ko, like, for example, I'll go to NGOs and say that you can make this carton like a toy house. Wag mga ganun. As in kung saan na ako napupunta.
Wait, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, pero
It's recycling.
But I just remember like
You weren't delivering it.
I wasn't
as well?
I didn't sell it. I just said na magaling ako magbenta.
Okay.
So that was one.
So, needless to say, you didn't get the job.
No.
Oh.
Yeah. The second one was
I'm sure nakikinig ng podcast natin. Charat!
most likely nag-apply na nga siguro yun.
Nag-apply na siya sa linya.
Yeah, oo naman.
Okay, game.
So, the second one was I was applying for a job, so I was so excited. I had no idea honestly, because nga I had no idea what brand management was. Okay? So I go to the job interview. It's an FMCG company. It's for food. Basically, consumer goods. So I was like, yeah. So mas prepared na ako this time. Ganyan. And it was a guy. And na-off ako because parang mukhang kabatch ko to.
Oh, okay.
And what's worse is, inaway ko to sa court.
Sa basketball?
Yes.
Oh, my.
As in, as soon as I opened the door, sabi ko, siya ba yun? Tumigil talaga yung puso ko.
Oh, no.
Like, siya ba yung parang nakaano ko, yung, sorry, and again, this is a public apology to all the people. I had a Napoleonic complex in college, and somehow on the basketball court, I would lose my shit, and I would just,
Explode. Aww.
And again, purely because of my Napoleonic complex, and I'm so sorry to everyone who I actually offended during that time.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was this guy, and sabi, his face was, alam mo yung when you go into a room, yung in the scene in the movie when the villain has the major reveal.
Yeah.
Ganon.
Yeah.
It was like,
Umikot siya sa chair, or that just happened in your mind?
no, maybe, pero parang it was like, masaya to.
It is you.
Parang ganon, mukhang maging masaya to.
Okay.
And then, he told me na the product that I'm supposed to sell is bottled water.
Okay.
And like, that's the hardest thing to market. Kasi the whole reason of marketing is saying that I have a product, you want this, I have a product that can serve that need, and my product is the best at serving that need. How do you say that my water is better than your water?
It's cleaner?
Hindi.
Bakit?
I mean, kumbaga, in terms of, yes, you can go, pero it's not, you have to really find an interesting angle.
Health.
Of course, everything naman is, parang kumbaga, anyway, I don't want to get into that. So, imagine mo na lang ako, fresh grad.
Yeah, especially for a fresh grad.
Yeah, and like wala pa naman ako kahit anong experience about like all these things that you're saying.
Yeah.
Of course, right now it's easier to think because we've learned so much and how to position and all these things. Pero nung time na yun, like, oh no. And then like when he said water, he had a smirk that, you know,
Parang eto.
alam ko
I
wala.
got you.
Alam ko wala na. So parang I didn't even bother trying.
Aw.
Yeah,
Okay. That does. Needless to say, you did not get the job.
I did not.
You did not.
And then yung third one was probably like this. So this was post-water interview, and may na mga natutunan na nga ako, like parang I researched na, like parang okay, so I could have attacked it like sa distribution or whatever, ganyan. This one, I really wanted this job. As in, I really, really wanted it. Na off na naman ako because in the waiting line were like 4 of our batchmates.
Oh, okay.
And alam ko lahat ng credentials nila.
And they were good.
And they were good. So I was like, okay, uwi na lang kaya ako.
Oh, so but you did the interview,
I did it.
but you weren't confident enough.
I lost my confidence.
Oh. Well, sige, maybe you can give tips later on. That's something that we are tackling. But for now, I think we can give tips to those who are seeking jobs right now. These are the things that you should consider in companies if you are looking to get a job. And correct me if I'm wrong, Jim, but benefits are really good. I think you should consider that. You should consider the culture of the company you're going to work for.
Definitely.
Like, you don't want to work for for a company that doesn't have the same values, right?
Yes. And you can actually sense that in the interview pa lang.
Oh, okay.
Most of the time.
Okay. And number 3 would be people. Parang not just the culture, but also the people that you will surround yourself with. Maybe you should consider that.
Yes.
Parang, okay ba tong mga taong to?
Yeah, pero yes, pero mahirap lang makuha yun in an interview. So best bet pa rin is, kasi nga, before like, Job Street and, that this option of like scouting, dati it was just really about like, do I have a friend who works there? Papalakad ako ng CV. And tatanungin ko, kamusta yung culture dyan?
Yeah.
Puro ganun lang eh.
Oo nga.
So, pero I think because everyone is so connected now, you can easily just message people, ask them on Instagram or whatever.
Yeah. Okay, one more is yung workload. Is that something to consider? Paano mo I guess you should find out during the interview, right? Like what's expected of you?
I agree dun sa workload, pero I would rather look at the quality. Parang look at it qualitatively as opposed to quantitatively. Because any job you get into naman, of course, they'll say, oh, you have to do X number of blanks in X number of days. That's really gonna happen. It's a job. You're being paid. But I think it's more of, kaya ko sinasabi qualitatively. Kasi if you are an art director and you love drawing, then look at it that way. Now, you could do 20 drawings in 2 days. Diba? Parang, pero syempre, if you're, let's say, an art director and they say, you have to make video edits, or you have to write copy also, then that's when you should kind of be wary.
Okay, that's a good point. And the last one would be pay.
Wag na yun.
I think that's definitely something you should consider. Based on your own resume also, parang kung ano bang dapat sapat. And how do you find out what you're worth?
Well, here's my suggestion. You check, parang what's your ROI? What's your break-even point? Parang, and, kasi ganun yun eh, parang, when I say break-even point, na parang hindi ka lugi. As simple as, okay, if I'm magko-commute ako dito every day, kakain ako ng lunch, wala naman silang kahit anong food. Parang ito yung gagastusin ko, or ito yung parking.
At least man lang makover yung mga yon, plus makakapag-savings ka.
again, that's why I say na you have to learn how to balance. Na parang once you know na okay, ito yung break-even point ko. Kunwari lang, let's say it's 20,000. 20,000, parang bawi ako. At least. Pag once you get there, then you have to ask yourself na parang, kasi especially for kung first job mo siya, or second job, or you're just really ascending in the corporate ladder, you have to consider that not, parang kumbaga, this is also an investment in your career.
Yeah.
So parang you look at the company. Sino ba yung mga lumabas dyan? Parang ganong kabilis ba yung growth dyan?
Yeah. Are you learning
Parang,
stuff?
parang maganda ba yung training program nila? Do they value fresh grads?
Yeah.
Is training integral to them?
And I think that's a good thing to point out because you can ask those things in an interview.
Yes.
Diba? Na parang, actually that would be, we're gonna get to that later. Like you as a hirer naman.
Yeah, pero I can't stress that enough because yun nga the opposite side of that is syempre ayaw mo magpalugi. Pero meron akong kilala na a cousin of mine. So he nakiusap siya sa dad ko to get into a pharmaceutical company. Okay? So parang that internship program was like very coveted. So okay, nakapasok siya. He, parang on the second day, he was complaining to everyone na parang, mas mahal pa yung parking sa sweldo ko eh. Parang ganon. So parang that's a complete opposite because kailangan mo rin tingnan, kailangan mo i-balance rin na parang, dude, one, it's an internship. Diba? Parang you have to know why you're joining the company. And then you balance that out with your financial needs. Kasi syempre, all of this naman, in the end, is an investment.
That's a good point. Yeah. And I want to also ask you about what red flags to look out for when you're interviewing for a company. Definitely culture. Yeah,
Yes.
that's a red flag. Like what's a red flag for you, culture-wise?
Maraming mamimitu.
Oh, yeah.
Tito-ness. Tito attack.
What's wrong with tito?
Yung tito-ness na parang
Dirty tito.
dirty titos. Dirty tito-ness.
Okay, I don't like that. Yung mga parang mandatory inuman sa Jerry's Grill or something.
Parang ako naman, I'm fine with mandatory inumans. Kasi, you know, that's part of the culture. I guess it's, parang...
Paano kung mandatory inuman sa girly bar?
Yun yung iba.
Yeah. So that's a red flag.
Yeah.
What about unpaid overtime? Is that something you can ask during an interview? Or do you think that's a point against you?
I think it's fair to ask, definitely. Pero if you go straight to unpaid, you have to ask first, like, what are the working hours like?
Yeah.
And then if they say na, usually people come, ako ganun parang what time do people usually come in? What time do they usually end? Parang how much importance do you put in work-life balance? Ganyan.
Oh, that's nice.
So again, swerte nga ng generation na to because ibang-iba na. Before, that was a red flag for employers. If you were asking about work-life balance, if you're asking about like, hey, if you even casually mention na, hey, I'm into photography.
Sila talagang, wag na to.
Wag na.
Nako, may photography pang nalalaman.
Nako, parang wala to sa weekend. Parang, yun naman talagang point.
Nako, may buhay tong batang.
Oo, ganun. Dati ganun. Na ngayon, I'm sure hindi na.
Yeah, that's great now. What about, well, we did say if you have to, maganda yung point mo about yung pay. So, a red flag would be if it's super below your expected, like what you want.
Kung lugi ka and it's not worth the investment.
Yes.
So, posible nga na malugi ka talaga na your daily commute, your salary barely meets your daily commute and your food. Kunwari lang, or your rent. It's a red flag if you are not even convinced about the company. If it's a wala lang company na parang masabi lang na may job and feeling mo naman in 3 months wala na ako dito. Then that's a red flag. So it's more subjective.
Okay, good point. All right. And now, Jim, I need to hear about yung worst job interviews mo naman as a hirer.
As an employer.
Employer. Yung ba yung term? Charot.
Yeah.
Yun yung nilagay ni Produ.
Produ. Pero I think,
As a
baka naman that's correct.
hirer. Oh, taga-hire. Bakit?
Okay. Anyway, okay. Number 1, kunento ko na to, di ba?
Oh.
On the pod. You can listen to that
Yes.
episode.
What episode is that?
The worst job interview ever.
Di ko na mo na to?
Kunento ko na yun.
Okay, sige.
Pero I'll quickly,
Sige, sure.
if you can't,
Am I guessing? Can I guess which
if
one
your
this
fingers can't scroll down a cell phone and look for an old episode on Spotify, ikukwento ko na rin.
is? Well, you couldn't even remember the title. So.
Yun nga, the worst job
ganun ba?
interview.
Okay, sorry. Is this the one where yung walang masagot? Yun ba?
Yeah,
Okay.
yung sinabi niya na he owns a company.
Mhm.
And then I asked him, okay, parang how much is your share?
Mm.
Parang in the company. And he was like, hindi namin pinag-usapan yun eh. Parang ganun. And he was like, I forget what, can you please tag us on Instagram and remind me ano yung kwento na yun? Medyo nakakalimutan ko na eh. Pero I remember he parang said something, you're being offensive. Ginanon ako.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Di ba?
You're asking too much.
Hindi. Something he said something na parang I'm finding this very offensive or something like that.
What did you ask?
I was asking him, sabi ko, what was your involvement in that company? Why did you invest? Can you tell me more about what the company did? He told me na he started a restaurant or something like that. And then I was asking him parang, okay, what's the restaurant? Okay, and then I'd say, okay, what were you in charge of? Who was in charge of sourcing the raw materials? Blah, blah, blah. Parang ganyan. Well, basic stuff lang.
So I guess he panicked.
Kasi he said he was lying. Kaya nga you have to listen to that episode. Anyway, that's
Okay.
one. He flat out lied and couldn't defend the lie.
Aww.
Number 2, this is clustered in a multiple. I don't know why, pero nakailang interviewee na ako na umiyak.
Aww. Why? Are you a scary, employer?
No. Sa interview,
Oh. I bet sila iiyak.
talagang si Ali.
Ali has witnessed those you have
No, I'm just
drawn to.
like, kuwari ganito. Kuwari, sabihin ko, okay, so I had one interview. Sabi ko, okay, so, like I said, I learned this from all my interviews. I go, okay, what year ka na-graduate? Parang kailan ka na-graduate? Siya, 2010. Sabi ko, what month? Siya, so ako parang, okay. And then, sabi ko, okay, so after you graduated, what did you do from this point on to this point on till you got your first job? Then she said, I started an Instagram business. Ko, okay, what's the name of the business? Yan, wala na sa Instagram eh. Sabi ko, okay, what happened? Yung sinara na namin. Sabi ko, okay, can you tell me about it na lang? What was the product? Yeah. We sold cupcakes. Okay. So why did you decide to sell cupcakes? Siya, kasi wala lang. Ganyan. Ko, okay, how many cupcakes were you selling in a day? Tapos parang,
Does she burst into tears?
parang, I guess that was the flow. And then she suddenly started like,
Aww. Maybe she was thinking like, well, that's why I'm interviewing because I don't want to run a business. I guess like a job interview, what's hard about a job interview is that you have to prepare your CV and your resume, and then it's kind of like a self-reflection, diba?
Yeah.
Parang, and then when you get to the interview, it's like, oh gosh, I have to defend everything that I've done in my life and all the wrong stuff that I did, and that's very...
I just remembered something.
What?
Someone was sent to me, and this was like the early days of Linya Linya. So we could barely afford an electric fan. Okay? And there was this girl and parang I feel like trip siya ng isang network namin.
Okay.
Okay? So recommend sa akin. So comes in, super duper like bihis to the max. And like, whoa, like parang very flamboyant.
Okay.
Just hi. Ganun. Parang
Confident.
talagang IDGAF.
Okay.
Ganun siya na parang, yeah, yes, yeah. Like ultra confident.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, this is weird kasi the position that you're applying for. So I pretty much said like, okay, would you be willing to go to the bank like every day and lining up and have a passbook updated? Sabi niya, well, actually, yung parang gano'n, yung talagang ang daming sinasabi pero walang sinasabi.
I don't think I've ever heard this story before.
Yeah. And then I talagang parang sabi ko, okay, today's mission, babarahin ko to.
Bakit?
Kasi-
yeah, because you felt like she was wasting your time, huh?
No. Kasi ang yabang niya.
But so is it a bad thing pag mayabang ka?
No.
In a job interview.
Iba yung mayabang sa confident. Yung yabang niya was like, I don't even want this job.
That sucks.
Parang ganun siya. And then it started with, parang I remember she asked me like, kasi my previous job kasi was paying so low eh.
Was
And
what?
Paying so low.
Paying so low. Okay.
Oo. Tapos sabi ko, and then, so I was like, if you don't mind, how much was it? Para baka, sabi ko, from here, parang from, at the start of the interview pa lang, we can find out if fit ba to o hindi. And she told me the number and it was crazy high. And I said, okay, so why did you leave? And then yun nga, I kept grilling her. Eventually, umiyak.
Bakit?
Kasi hindi niya masagot yung mga tanong ko.
Oh, in all fairness, I would also cry in an interview. I feel like it. I know it. And if you've ever cried in an interview, I'm telling you, it's all right. We have to fail at times, but then we get back up and we learn from that. Why did you cry? Because you weren't prepared enough? Was it because you didn't want to deal with, the things that you have, parang you weren't thorough enough and you learn from it. Diba?
And just to clarify, itong mga umiyak, obviously were super duper not prepared. Super didn't want the job. Didn't try hard enough. Kasi I had one of them na umiyak. Nung tinanong ko, okay, I don't know why. I had a sense. So I go, okay, what are you applying for? What position? Parang I've never tried asking that.
Yeah.
Parang just to see kung nag-random application lang ba to and then may nag-reply and then pumunta siya. So I go, what are you applying for? I don't know.
Oh.
So I go, kahit yung position. Yeah. Linya. So I go, okay, that's the company. Go, what do you know about the company?
Gumagawa po ng mga linya.
And then she was looking around the office. And then she said, looked around the office, matagal. T-shirt?
Oh. Well, that's a
Pero,
tip right there. You have
FYI,
to prepare.
yung mga yan, galing pa sa mga top private schools.
Oh.
Just to let you know.
Yeah.
Parang yung mga yang kayan, kasi nga, overconfident. Tapos, hindi naman prepared. Kala nila mabobola nila yung likod niya.
Wow. That's one of the things that I was gonna ask you if you were to consider applicants as an employer, as a hirer. I think it's correct. But if you were,
Can you take me higher?
like ito, hindi may konting sway yung school, meron ba? Pero mas malakas sa'yo ang effect ng interview no? Like what they bring to the interview.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What I've learned is like again, Most of yung mga epic flops na yan, mga galing sa mga top private schools.
Yeah. So if you are looking to employ new people, JobStreet is the #1 job portal in the Philippines, and they offer free job posts for all companies. And again, if you are applying for a job, make sure think about what your employer is looking for, and make sure to prepare. They are going to be looking at your references, your skills. What are you good at? What did you do at your previous jobs? And maybe orgs. What did you do exactly? Think about it so much. As in, i-OA mo yung pag-brain dump mo about all these facts and these things that you can show off to your boss during the interview. And also think about your future plans, because they might also ask that. Diba? Kasi you want to know what you're in for. Is this person just going to be here, drifting maybe 3 months and won't last? But if she really wants to be part of your company and wants to grow with it, that would be great. So think about your future plans and if it's a fit with your new job, the job that you're applying for. And also, a question, Jim. Yung school, you said, doesn't really matter to you. But what about the grades? Do you look at that?
No.
No. Okay, that's
like
good
for
to know.
example, I hired someone. She used to be a bus lady in a fast food chain. She's now like one of my top
Oh, wow.
people. Yeah. Because in the interview pa lang, alam kong napakasipag ng taong to. As in like, and she's constantly learned. So yeah.
Oh, that's great.
I want to add lang before we end 2 things to what you said. One, when you're doing an interview, your answers, the interviewer is not looking, parang, the answers are just a reflection of who you are. And that's what the interviewer is looking for. So parang, if you say that, yun yung mali ko before eh. Parang, if they ask me 3 to 5 years, I'm gonna lie and say, oh, I want to be in this company. But it doesn't say anything about me. Everyone else, there are 20 other applicants who are saying the same thing. So think about talaga who you are and parang, and don't be afraid to express it. But no, so okay, that's number 1. Number 2, so number 1, no, parang don't be afraid to express who you are. Number 2, know the language. Know the language of your of the company you're applying for. If mahilig sila sa mga competency of the then use that language and
Meron tayong episode about that, office jargon, if you want to check that out.
Tickle the balls of that
Of that scrotum.
Okay, and then third is know your story. Okay? And when I say that, it's so easy kasi, especially for a fresh grad, to get trapped in, this is my CV, I wrote down this. Okay? In 2000 blank, I did this. I was part of this. Ang nangyayari most of the time, people are so ready with that na in 2005, I did this. But they don't even prepare what actually happened. No one cares. Like, I was so proud of, I'll say like, oh, I was a signatory of this blah, blah, blah org. And then when they ask me like, what was the org doing? So I only prepared until the general thing. Kaya ako since I know the story, watch the movie.
Yeah.
Diba? Parang it's the same thing as someone saying, hey, have you seen Dune? Tapos sabi mo, yeah, tungkol siya sa sand at sa spice. Diba? Parang, pero you don't know about, pero if you do know, then you'd be confident and you can really tell the story. Oh, tapos tumating sa Arrakis. Tapos blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Hey, that's a really good point. Yeah. So there, maybe ang last kong is, how would you know if a job interview went well?
I guess just like a date, if there's any hint of a future. Parang if walang kahit anong hint na someone will call you or email, ganyan, then mukhang wala na.
Pag na-ghost ka.
Mukhang ghosting na yun. Pero if may hint of, parang, and then I think ang biggest indicator is when can you start.
Oh, wow. You got that? Nagkakawa ka na ng ganon?
Oo naman.
Hayop, sorry naman. Overconfident, Besh. Very flamboyant. Charot. Well, before we end, I want to remind you guys that even if you don't get the job that you were applying for, it's okay. At least you got to prepare, you got to learn more about yourself and what you want to do, what you actually want to do, and you can work towards that future.
Yes. And if there's one thing to take away from this podcast is it's
Akala ko it's wag ka makipag-away sa basketball court. Kasi because you might apply for that
one.
person's company.
And my parting words are preparation is in the bye.